All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, what's up?
How's it going?
What do you want to talk about? BlockFi?
I do.
I mean, it almost broke Twitter a couple days ago.
Yeah, well, because Pomp, you know when Pomp says something, crypto world listens.
They do listen. That dude does a good job of getting news of people and information, and it's awesome. But
dude, yeah, I definitely like it because you start seeing a little bit more people come into the space that are like, I guess not really judgmental straight from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? When you got people who like reach out and talk about it.
And what I think he really owns is he doesn't shill coins.
Yeah.
I mean, he does Bitcoin, but I mean, we all know that's king. But he promotes companies and investing, in not in straight cryptos, but in equity.
Yep.
And it's totally different from, pretty much the rest of crypto Twitter. And right now, that's probably been the most successful crypto investments.
Yeah.
Is, buying into businesses.
Yeah.
And I think, that's why we build our business. We think that's going to be the biggest return on investment over, any coin we could invest in.
Yeah. Long term.
Oh, yeah. Long term, no doubt. All right, but like you were saying, he announced this crypto interest fund, and it sparked all sorts of commentary. But the company's called BlockFi.
Yeah, and they're a lending service, right?
Yeah, so they have a lot of monetary services, similar to some banks. I'm not going to call them a bank, but
right.
They lend money, they lend crypto and money out to people, and then they have different types of services. But he was mainly focusing on their crypto interest account.
Yeah, and before we go a little bit further, so at first they actually started off doing crypto to USD loans. BlockFi did. So doing crypto to USD loans, and then and accepting BTC and ETH for that too. So I mean, they already had a footprint in that area. Then now they're just gonna backdoor it.
Well, they were definitely already a financial company.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about is similar to DAI, and that's one of the services. But let's jump into their interest fund first.
Yeah.
And just kind of and I think we can segue into what you're talking about, because that's kind of how they're able to pay for this interest.
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I brought that up only because that's how they actually started. That's how they started off first.
Yeah.
But so tell us about it.
Well, BlockFi, like you said, they're a crypto lending service, and they provide high interest crypto accounts and low cost credit products. All right. Yeah. And what really everyone started jumping on Twitter is they have an interest account that lets you deposit Bitcoin or Ethereum and earn up to 6.2% interest.
And so what were people getting all fired up about?
The number one thing I was seeing is they were comparing it to BitConnect. And I put some stuff out there on Twitter about how, it's not BitConnect.
No.
And I think it's important. We're not endorsing BlockFi in any way.
Right.
They didn't pay us to do this. We just saw everyone got interested in it, and we just kind of want to explain, some of their services and shed some light on like what you're saying. Everyone got pissed because they were compared to BitConnect.
And so, and for people that don't know about BitConnect, what were they doing?
Well, they were doing something similar. Okay, so they were taking people's Bitcoin and saying they had some like professional badass algorithm that would invest it and make them all sorts of money.
And and their returns were something ridiculous, like, what'd you say, 40%?
I wrote it down. So it was 40% returns a year.
Okay, and so what was the return?
No, I'm sorry. No. Yeah, 40% returns a month.
A month.
A month.
And so what was the return at 3 years? Remember we were talking about?
Okay, so listen to this. So every day you'd get a return of 1% of your money. So like I said, about 40% a month, because they give you a bonus. But if you invested $1,000 at that interest rate, in 3 years, you would have $4 million.
That's why it's not compared. That was a Ponzi scheme.
That's exactly what it was. It was a Ponzi scheme, and part of it was also a pyramid scheme, but, people suckered into it.
Yeah.
And you watched that show, American Greed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great show.
Yeah.
And I remember they had this FBI investigator on there one time, and he goes, if the company guarantees over 8%, he goes, it's probably a scam. And that's a year.
I like that.
That's a year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
BitConnect was doing 40% a month. Okay, wow. And so if we put...
so not to digress, but for real, though, the point taken, that there's nowhere, they don't compare.
Yeah, because, 6.2% a year?
Yeah.
And so the BitConnect argument was kind of overtaken.
Yeah, so 6.2% a year. So an example that I have written down is so you have 6.2% compound interest, a BlockFi interest account that has one Bitcoin deposited to on February 28th. On March, the following month in March, we'll have 1.005 totaling 1.625.
Because they pay you out every month.
Every month.
Which is good because that compounds throughout the entire year.
Yes. Keyword compound. I learned that from Dave Ramsey.
And we can compare it to a stock. Like a stock, you get a quarterly dividend. Well, that'll compound, but it only compounds every 3 months.
Yeah.
This is going to compound every month.
Yeah, and then and how you can buy into this with this. You put your BTC, your Ethereum, and then is it Litecoin too?
You can do Litecoin, but that is their...
What? No Ripple? Well, hold up. No,
don't get started.
I'm not good. I don't even want to start down that right now.
But I think the Litecoin is their collateralized loans. I think for the interest account, it's just Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Okay.
And there are some minimum deposits. I think you got to have 1 Bitcoin or 25 Ethereum. So you can't do any less than that. So about $4,000.
That's so 1 Bitcoin and 25. So
that's the minimum.
Yeah.
Just to come in.
No. Especially if if you're looking to have something grow quite, I would say fast, but.
Well, so the good thing about it is if you think Bitcoin's price is going to jump, it's not a bad idea. And like I said, we can't ever tell you how to invest, but if you put it in there and it's compounding monthly, and the price of Bitcoin jumps up, you're going to get a lot of interest. Versus if you just had Bitcoin in your wallet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's just stagnant.
It's just, stagnant. And of course it comes with some risk. I mean, of course, BlockFi, God forbid they go under and have to go out of business and you lose your money. Yeah, I mean, that could happen.
But that also can happen at any exchange.
It could happen at a bank. Yeah,
at a bank, yeah.
Exchange is probably the riskiest.
But a bank is even more, no.
Well, bank you won't get 6.2% interest. You'll get 1.
Yeah. And then they'll just... throw yours out.
And they'll lend it out for 6.2%.
They'll just throw it out right when you put it. Yeah, so so one thing that I took from this is that, and I'm not sure if a lot of people do take this, but I see adoption happening, before our eyes, and not a lot of people see it.
Every day.
Yeah.
Okay, so my brother listens to our podcast.
Nice.
But he goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he's a computer guy, he's on the computer a lot, and he does a lot of stuff on Adobe like we do. But he's like, I just don't understand what you're talking about. And it's just, people don't know.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. I'm like, dude, you listen to our podcast. How do we not explain what it is?
And know what's wild is that I saw, and I shared this on Twitter, that I can't remember the exact percentage. It was something crazy but most people now are using digital payments for everything. Cash is being more and more obsolete. So, I mean, the fact that we're at that point right now, I mean, kind of goes to show you, we're knocking on the door.
And with digital, I think people just feel so much safer not pulling out that card.
Yeah.
Even though it may be just as risky using PayPal. But I don't know.
And another thing that scares me, and we kind of chatted about the younger generations kind of being a little bit more lazy. Mm-hmm. I think they're okay with letting their money just sit in the bank. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're worried about, I don't think they want to be worried about their cold wallet. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So maybe beating that into somebody's head is, probably easier said than done. And
it goes back to what we were saying. If you really think Bitcoin is going to rise and you're going to sit on Bitcoin for a long time, not a bad idea, because it's actually going to earn interest in this versus not earning interest. You just have to weigh the risk of, putting your Bitcoin in not your cold wall storage. Right. You know what I'm saying?
So I got 17 Ethereum though. So if you want to throw in, we can go.
But they do use Gemini.
Okay.
The Gemini blockchain.
Okay.
And so that's supposed to be pretty secure.
And now Gemini, is that
it's like a custodial service for a blockchain.
I was just going to say, that's not. Is that the Winklevoss twins? That's not theirs, is it?
I'd have to look. I don't want to say it is, but it sounds. I think so.
Yeah, it might be.
I think it, but it's just a custodian service that they have. So it's just another way to protect your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and we kind of skipped over this part, but a lot of people were compared to BitConnect. Because you start thinking, okay, how do you pay out 6.2% interest a year to all this Bitcoin?
Right.
And that goes back to the loan service you were talking about, the collateralized loans backed by crypto.
Okay.
So if you want to get a cash loan, or you can actually do it in a stable coin, you can put your Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin up as collateral.
Right.
And then they'll advance you that money. And then to get your collateral back, you just have to repay what you loaned plus the interest.
Yeah, and you get to use BTC, ETH, Litecoin to start a business.
But and it's another thing. If you think if you're going to go long Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin, this is not a bad idea because this is how you get leverage.
Yeah.
So you're getting money loaned to you, and then let's say the price of Bitcoin's at $4,000, so you deposit $4,000, and you just know for a fact it's going to double. So you take out a $4,000 loan backed by your Bitcoin.
Right.
Let's say Bitcoin doubles in that 6-month period. You guessed right.
Boom.
Okay. Well, you can pay back your loan. All right. Get your Bitcoin back for just whatever the amount of the loan was plus interest. So $4,000 plus interest.
Right.
Probably like $4,200, and then you had all that money to probably go invest in other places.
So
definition of leverage,
and it's cheap right now.
Yeah,
Is it cheap right now? What do you think?
Their loan, the interest on their loan, from what I was seeing, was cheaper, probably some of the cheapest in the industry.
No, I was talking about Bitcoin. What do you think?
Bitcoin.
You think it's cheap right now? Me too.
When Jack Dorsey buys 10,000 a week, that tells you something. All right, one of the biggest guys in tech.
Yeah.
I mean, that's safe to say. It's not Facebook, but Twitter's humongous.
Absolutely.
And he's buying $10,000 a week.
Yep.
I think he knows something.
Agreed.
Yeah,
and not to mention, not only does he, so he owns Twitter and he also owns Square. So, and Square now accepts digital payments. Yeah.
And so to me, it's just like, all right, think about all the stuff we see on Twitter versus all the stuff he sees on Twitter.
Right.
He's seeing messages that.
Have you seen, one of the Joe Rogan podcasts where he talks about, where he's got Jack on the show? So apparently Joe got, he took some heat for that one because they think they gave him layups and meatball questions right down the middle, and he could dodge them. But he talks so good on the mic. He's like real.
He thinks about everything before he answers.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I kind of like to see him think.
He's smart guy, man. Well, they put out a new one. I was listening to the new one today, actually.
Joe Rogan.
They brought him back on, and they brought this Twitter exec over banning people.
Nice. What'd they talk about?
I only got to listen to like the first 30 minutes, but they were. He had one of Joe Rogan's friends. I can't remember his name, but this dude was grilling her over like, why are you banning people? Because you start looking at it as real political. The side that they're banning, but we won't get into that too much. But what we're talking about, if we think the Bitcoin's going to go up, you can put it up as a collateralized loan and give yourself leverage.
Yeah, make money.
But it comes with risk.
Yeah, but if you're one of those people, Tim Draper, thinking, Bitcoin's going to go to 50, 60, 100K, then what did you just do with that 4,000 investment?
Yeah, hopefully, you can do whatever you want with that money, but the smart thing to do would go invest it, reinvest it, because you'll make way more money off just a few percent changes in the price of Bitcoin and all that stuff.
Yeah, agreed. So, well, with the talk of digital assets, investments, you saw Tron, Tether doing the whole stablecoin thing. Yeah,
do you want to tell the audience about it a little bit?
Yeah. Well. So, at first I was like, another one, like why, right? And then it took me a while to realize. I was like, okay, let me see. Started reading into, but the main reason, one of the main reasons that I saw was Tron wants to start getting into the enterprise companies and start reaching out to these Fortune 500s and Fortune 100 companies. So to have something that they can use that's stable and doesn't move, well, that makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense to have a stable coin.
Yeah.
And like you do, I do agree with that, is they want to bring in institutional investors.
But why has it got to be Tether?
Yeah, there's just been so many concerns.
So many. And, I'm not here saying they did this, they did. I'm just saying there's been a lot of red flags raised, and I read into what I read into. I make my decisions, you make yours, but why?
Well, let's kind of bring up some of the red flags. The first one was the University of Texas. Those researchers came out and said that they used Tether to pump the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Basically, they would print Tether and then buy Bitcoin with it. They were just print. They weren't taking in money to print Tether, so it's supposed to be backed one for one. Every dollar in, they'll print one Tether. Well, instead of taking in money, they were just apparently just printing Tether and then buying Bitcoin. So it's driving up the price of Bitcoin.
That's one instance.
And like I said, we can't prove for a fact that this is true. I guess unless you're just a really.
I'm not, and we're not trying to.
We're just saying what we saw in the news and stuff. And then the next thing was there's been another report that the company had 1.8 billion in its reserves, but they had 2 billion worth of Tether on the market. So there's $200 million gap right there.
Yeah.
And so that's just the kind of the biggest concerns right now I have with it.
And then I also saw, and all speculation, but I did see that they previously also, when they reported, I guess, how much they had, it was wrong to whoever that audited them. Somebody audited them and it was wrong. They had to go back, do it again, and then it became right. Like, what we get?
The last guy missed the decimal
We get
place.
repeats. But the fact that Tron is moving or trying to move towards something business-like, I think it's great. But my red flag is Tether.
And this is kind of what I think is going to happen with it. So before a big institution is going to put money into it, they're going to want to see it publicly audited.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're making a totally new. Well, they are making a totally new coin.
Yeah,
because it's the
comes out
Tron.
in a couple months.
What's the Tron's ERC20?
TRC20. Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, they're almost making a new fund. Maybe this is like their more legit. We're going to make sure everything's a dollar for dollar.
But this other one was the one we needed to get notarized.
And maybe see them start exiting from just USDT.
Well,
I don't know. That's complete speculation. Yeah. I have no facts backing it up.
Who knows? Who knows? The fact that they're doing that it's good, but they are also using it in their networks for dApps and stuff like that, web services. So I mean, they also have. I think I saw 200 million users now or 200 million, maybe not active users. Maybe they have 200 million total users on the network. So.
Justin Sun took a lot of heat like a year and a half ago because he wasn't doing nothing. He's doing stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
And some people can't stand him. Some people think it's all a scam. But he's building a network and getting stuff out there and promoting it the best as hard as he can.
Remember back in the day when we first started talking about Tron, one of the things that we said was a lot of people see Tron as, they don't really see it as serious in the States. But like if you go, to a different country, Tron is like Tron's one of the real deal blockchains out there. You know what I'm saying? And Justin Sun, I think he does a good job at marketing to other areas.
It's huge in Asia.
Yeah,
it's huge,
absolutely massive, and not a lot of people know that.
Like you said, 200 million users. Now some of those could be bots, but.
Right? Oh yeah, but even when, like, if you search Tron right now on Google in the States, the movie still comes up. I'm just saying,
no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I bet if you. I don't know. You can't type in. You can't go to Google in China or anything. But
talking about Google and Tron, do you really think Tron is a decentralized internet? That's always what I'm interested in. Can the internet get towards decentralized besides like the dark web?
I don't know. I mean, you start talking about the BAT token and stuff like that. They're supposedly decentralized. Holochain, don't they do something like that?
Yeah, kind of.
Something similar. I don't know. I don't know if it can be because I always feel like somebody is controlling what I'm on.
Because does Justin Sun have the ability to take off an app?
Yeah.
Or shut down a site on his network? Because if he can, then it's not decentralized.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? And kind of this argument of, okay, should we decentralize everything on the web? Like everything. And of course you always get that one jerk that posts something up there that no one wants to see. It's just horrible.
Like
video.
You on Twitter the other day when you were talking shit to that dude?
I'm just kidding. Talking shit.
No, I'm just kidding. Hey, but that was a good you raised a good question, and a lot of people I don't think really understood we don't have to get into it now, but
might as well.
So check this out. So you said something on Twitter before we go into what you said. they just wrote an article about it. AMB Crypto just wrote an article about Peter Brandt writing this tweet, and then it fired up some people.
Well,
right?
he
tell the story.
He pissed off a lot of people because he compared Ripple to PayPal.
Yeah.
And I've talked about that for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, on the show, we've talked about it a couple times.
And so he threw the stick of dynamite. I just kind of poured some gasoline a little bit on the
just to see what would happen, huh?
No, because I just agreed with him. All I said was I agree. I think Ripple and PayPal are very similar.
Yeah.
And, dude, I'm telling you, over a course, I'm still getting notifications on it. But within like 20 minutes, I had 75 notifications of likes and arguments. And then as soon as someone commented, they'd get 40 likes. You know, it's just like...
Yeah, I had to jump in and say something.
It was just like, God. I mean, it's like... I mean, I'm not trying to talk bad about XRP, but as soon as I called it similar to PayPal or just agreed with someone else called it similar, it was like this army came out and they just like mounted the fence.
It was them versus you and Peter at that time.
And there was a couple of guys agreeing with it. It was just wild, man. And I've had some dealings with XRP before, and like I said, I never said it may not be profitable.
I agreed 100%.
I just said, hey, it's very similar to PayPal, and
I may have Ripple. Who knows?
I've invested in Ripple before.
Right.
Made some money off of it.
Right.
And that's one thing people were talking trash to me, like, oh, you lost money? I'm like, no.
Yeah, you can't have, there's no feelings in investing, you know, unless like, unless you talk about Bitcoin. then I have some feelings involved.
I feel some people get too heavily invested.
Agreed.
And they just can't think straight.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? It's
100%.
Like,
let's not. Yes, you're agreed. I've got friends that I've seen. And
that's happened to me where I knew I should have sold a coin, or I knew I should have sold a stock, whatever. And I'm just like, no, I'm seeing right out. Yeah. And just like,
hey, me too.
20% later, like,
I love Stellar so much. I can't let go of it. And then I held it for way too long.
But I think one thing we do is we do a pretty good job of removing the emotion from the side of investing.
Yep. No, not like you said. We definitely had our, where we've learned, but I'm to the point now where I'm like, you know what?
Strictly business.
That's exactly right.
Business.
Exactly right.
It's just an investment.
That's the same with like Twitter too. Like, at first, like, man, I don't want to get on Twitter, man. People think social media is weak. But really it's the exact opposite. I think it's the exact opposite. I think it's awesome. I think we should be using it. We should have been using it a long time ago to reach out. Crypto would have been far along than it is now.
Oh, dude. and it's a lot of people just yelling stuff. But like, okay, so the argument we were talking about just a second ago, there was a guy, a big supporter of Ripple. Dude, he was super friendly to me. And me and him had a long discussion. He just wanted to know why I thought that.
Yeah.
And I gave him my complete reasoning, like 5 or 6 different reasons why I believe, XRP
I
isn't.
read that.
XRP isn't this. Yeah.
That was
and then I followed him on Twitter, and he followed me back, just like, "Hey, I'll listen to this guy because he makes sense." And at the end of my argument, he was like, "I may not see your side," but he goes, "Thanks for sharing."
Agree to disagree. And not only that, you made sense. I don't know if he did because I wasn't really reading his part, but I read your part.
No, he was making sense, and it's just like, why can't more information would get shared if people just kind of chilled out a little bit?
Agreed. That can be stretched to a lot of different areas.
And we always listen to Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
And he always said, it's not about being right, it's about getting it right.
Yep.
And I think that's what matters at the end of the day.
Agreed. And I love Colin.
Yeah, he's got some good insight.
Hey, so couple big things. We're going to start have somebody on the show. A couple people on the show next week.
March is almost filled up.
Yeah.
We got one more spot if you want to try to jump on our podcast.
Poquito más.
Uno más.
A little bit more.
So if you got a project or an idea, or you just want to shill some coins and just kind of talk about them a little bit, I mean,
they have to be helpful, though, right?
Say what?
I said y'all have to be helpful, though. No scams.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. If you got something scammy, come on the show, and we'll see if we can pick it apart.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, if you know of a scam, we don't want to, shed light on their project. We just want to highlight what's going on over there, how we can help an investor. That's the main thing.
We just like transparency.
Absolutely. Like, I almost messed up what I said just there, so.
But if you want to jump on, give us a shout, and I mean, we'll definitely try to get you on the show.
Drew at Crusader, Zach at Crusader.com.
And check out. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, because we post stuff. I mean,
and just reach out. Let's talk.
Every day.
Jump on. Y'all can jump on. We can just chat a little bit.
Because you got how many times did you post on your show?
Twice a week. Well, I didn't post it yesterday. I'm having trouble with my video right now. I'm moving. Well, I'm not moving completely away from podcast. I'm keeping my podcast, but I'm just going to add the video.
You're adding the video to it.
Yeah, I'm adding video to it. So I'm having trouble with my video, but it'll be fixed by tonight. And
then I'm posting twice a week. We post this once every week. Mm-hmm. And then, so check us out at crusader.com/BlockNation. If you need your project or whatever marketed, I mean, you need to be giving us a shout because we are making some badass stuff for customers and
absolutely
a lot of projects in the community.
If you think you need more customers, if you think you need more people to talk to, hit us up.
Crusader.com. Check out our stuff. Give us a shout. And even if you want to schedule a 15-minute meeting with us, all right, go to our website. We'll talk to you anytime about anything. Give us 15 minutes, even if you're unsure about what we can do for your company. Yep.
Absolutely. I love y'all.
All right. See y'all later.